Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Sade. Thank y'all for joining me for our astrology talk. For today, we are diving into what it means if you have a Cancer rising. So, your rising is going to be the sign that is in your first house. So, if you have Cancer in your first house, then you are considered a Cancer rising. And you are also considered a person that embodies the moon element. And the reason being is because Cancer is ruled by the moon. Now, before I go ahead and jump into this video, if you have not checked out any of my astrology videos on how to find your sun, moon, your rising, as well as what the Cancerian archetype means in general, feel free to check out my videos on my channel, Hidden Alchemy. I have tons and tons of astrology videos that you can go ahead and get lost into. Now, let's go ahead and dive into what it means if you are a Cancer rising. Now, Cancer rising is very similar to having your sun in the sign of Cancer, but definitely from a much different perspective. Cancer risings are folks who really have antennas in understanding the emotional needs of the collective, because your rising is how you portray yourself in the world. It's a lot more than just the mask that people see. It's literally how you receive the world, because it's the first house. It's how you enter the world. It's how your body enters the world and what your body is receptive to. Because the original first house ruler is Aries, and Aries rules the head. But the first house rules your physical body. So when you are a Cancer rising, you have these emotional antennas to pick up what other people are feeling, what other people need. And because you have Cancer in the first house, you like to initiate your action through taking care of others. Cancer is a feminine sign ruled by the moon, and it's water based. So whenever we're dealing with water, we're dealing with true psychic ability. And I would definitely say that a person that has a Cancer moon as well as Cancer in their first house, extremely psychic, because you can really use these antennas to notice what's happening behind the scenes. Cancer in the first house is definitely a behind the scenes noticer, right? Like if you have Aries in the first house, Aries is so aware of themselves that sometimes it can be hard for them to be aware of others. Not impossible, but a bit of a challenge because they rule the self. You put Cancer in the first house, it's water based, it's psychic. These people can pick up on the subtlety of things that might not be seen with the naked eye, but can be felt through their antennas. And because they have this deep gift and this psychic awareness, they really understand what other people need in order to feel safe. Cancer rising folks, people feel so at peace and so warm and so seen in these people's presence because they give off energetically this energy of the mama bear, this energy of the nurturer, the person who wants to listen to you, the person who wants to help, the person who wants to take care. And because these folks have this true deep psychic ability and this need, this really deep need to serve and to take care of others and to heal others, these folks have to really work on making sure that their gifts are not being used against them. And what I mean by that is it's so easy for these folks to be taken advantage of because they just have that deep inner understanding of what other people need beyond the surface. And because it's first house energy, the first house is where Mars likes to sit and where the sun likes to sit. It's a masculine house. So when you're dealing with first house energy, you like to act based off of what you are great in your qualities and your gifts. So if you are a Cancer rising, you like to initiate action by taking care of people, by healing others. And sometimes this can work against you because others can feel this nourishing and this genuine wanting to care and wanting to take care of and use it in your detriment by taking advantage of you, And Cancer risings have to really make sure that the people they have around them are also givers, because Cancers can be very, very giving, very, very nurturing. So they have to make sure that the people around them are also givers, because if not, that energy in the first house can really attract them to a lot of takers and a lot of people who want to just loathe in their presence and really just dumping what's going on. And the reason why this can be a challenge for people who have Cancer in the first house is because Cancer is water, and water absorbs everything that it touches. And I mentioned this in my Cancer Sun video, but folks who have Cancer risings have to work on being separate from others to really cleanse their energy and get back to what energy is theirs as opposed to what energy they have taken on from the people around them. These are people that really need seclusion time, downtime, so that they can just reflect on what's going on within themselves as opposed to what's going on around them. These folks are very, very affected by their environment. They need to be in spaces that they feel very safe, but also spaces that allows them to be a leader. And the reason I say this is because, and I've mentioned this in my other rising videos, if you do not have Aries in your first house, you have to go back to see where Aries begins in your chart. And if you are a Cancer rising, Aries starts in your 10th house. So this is where your energy begins. And your energy is beginning in the house of leadership. It's beginning in the house of responsibility, of duty, of making sure that you are seen in your work environment and that you are building something substantial for not only yourself for safety, but for your family, because Cancer energy cares a lot about the family, a lot about the home. So these are folks that have to pay attention to their career choices. When they are in the right career choice, the right career path that means something to them, this is where their energy is going to shine. This is where their Cancerian energy in the first house is going to help them shine in their work environment, because they are going to have this psychic ability of what people need in the workspace. They are going to have this psychic creative ability. Cancer is water and it's feminine. So it's so creative, so artistic, and so receptive. So they can receive, okay, what's the information download? What is the collective needing right now to feel safe? What are the people in my work environment needing right now to really feel safe and to feel seen? And if they are in the right workspace that means something to them, because Aries is in that 10th house, if they can just show their leadership in their workspace, they're going to really be able to tap into that Cancerian energy of knowing how to nurture others, but because they need to lead, knowing how to nurture themselves. And that's why I always say, look to where Aries begins in your chart, because that's where your energy starts. And if you focus on where your energy starts, then you can better use your rising energy to the best of your ability. Now, because you are a Cancer rising, that means that you have Capricorn in your 7th house. And this is very important. The Cancer Capricorn axis, these two are the nurturers, the healers, and the builders of the home, and the builders of legacy to leave for the home as well as generations to come. So it is very important for these folks, not only in just romantic partnership, but just in their relations to other people in general, to have people around them that they feel very safe with and that can really teach them and show them through their own actions how to properly create boundaries. A Cancer rising person, and depending on what else you have in your chart, in your moon, your moon and your sun sign, a Cancer rising person is going to have a little bit of difficulty setting boundaries because they like to move through the world being compassionate and being empathetic for others. So it's so important for the people that they keep around them to also share this compassion, to also share this empathy, but most importantly, to know how to set boundaries to protect their energy. Cancer risings have to really work on protecting their energy because they exude naturally just this mama bear nurturing type of nature. They have to really know when it's a safe time for them to say no, to close off, and they can really learn this through their partnerships because they have Capricorn in that 7th house. And just like Cancer, Capricorn is really big on security and safety, but on the physical plane. So having Capricorn in that 7th house, it means that you as a Cancerian rising person, you value relationships that are based off of depth, that are based off of foundation, security, and that are very, what's the word I'm looking for? That are very functional. It needs to be functional. It needs to make sense. It needs to be safe, supported, grounded, and solid. Having a Capricorn in the 7th house means that these are folks that like long-term relationships, long-term friendships, and they can even be in contracts with people from their job for a long period of time because they want to build something substantial. And if they feel safe in these partnerships or relationships, they're going to be in there for the long haul to really see the manifestations of their ideas. Having Cancer in the first house, you are extremely creative, so psychic, so aware of what everyone needs, and so nourishing. And because you have this psychic ability of what everyone needs, having Aries in that 10th house, you can really be a true leader in your work environment. Having Capricorn in that 7th house, you're here to build something substantial through your relationships and partnerships that you have with others. And having Cancer in that first house, even though Cancer is water, it's still cardinal. So these are initiators of change, and they have long lasting staying power, even though they are a water sign. Now, because Cancer is that water element and Cancer is ruled by the moon, these are folks who can go through a lot of mood shifts and mood changes. And I know that Cancers get this rep of being moody, which is true in a sense because you have the moon being the ruler of your first house. But these folks are very receptive to their environment. So they can be in a very good mood one moment, move to a different environment, have a memory that comes up based off of that environment, and that's going to shift the entire mood. So again, this is why it's important for these folks to have stable forces around them that can really help them feel safe and really help them to initiate boundary setting and find more stability and grounding despite the constant changes and shifts that these folks feel. Cancer risings can definitely benefit. I mean, anyone can benefit from a meditation practice, but they can definitely benefit from a movement type of practice so that they can feel really safe and grounded in the body, since the first house rules your actual body. And this can be in a form of artistic expression as well. And they are going to feel very safe around places that have water. So maybe an island is a great place for them to spend some time so they can be around the slowness of energy and just feel the depths of the water and really move with the moon, right? The water is always being shifted and changed by the moon. So these folks can really do well by being in spaces of water, by being in spaces that push them to move their physical body to build strength, to build stamina and internal security, as well as personal power. But all in all, Cancer in that first house, psychic ability and awareness, mama bear energy, the nurturer, the lover, the healer, the creative, artistic, mystic, and most importantly, the giver and the one who can see and feel everything in its rawness and in its truth. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining me for this video. I hope to see you again soon for our next astrology video.